And we're back again. I'm so sorry about that. It was a little latency issue here on my end, so I changed the quality just a little bit. I am so sorry. And I see that y'all left anyway. But now we're back up and running. And we'll start with the next question. Like I said before, I chose Eckler over Breda. That was pretty simple for me. I really like Eckler this week. With the video, it seems to be lagging anyway. Oh well. I'm just gonna keep streaming and answer the questions. So hopefully, if your question come up, I will see it, even though we have a little bit of a delay. So we have Philip Dorset. Is that not how he spells his name? Philip Dorset. That's how he spells his name. My bad. I don't have him. Okay. And Pierre Garçon. So ignoring Dorset, because apparently I don't have him, which is a little annoying. Let's go and see what I had him on. If I missed him I must have missed him in the rankings, to be fair. Let's just give Steve this information and hope he'll make the right decision, and let him know that I prefer Garçon this week over these two. On Dorset. And welcome to the stream. I hope you find it watchable. I know that there's a little bit of a lag, but you can just leave a comment in the chat if you have any questions about any starter set, or tweet at me at CSD Fantasy if you prefer that. I'm just gonna keep answering questions until I run out of them. I have a bunch here, and if more questions come up on Twitter, I will answer them, and if more come up in chat, I will take care of them too. But the next question here is from Dion, and he has Corey Davis, who we added because I was missing him last week, and Sammy Watkins. So who do I like? Pretty even, Steven, all over the board. I do like Watkins just a little bit because that ceiling is 3 points high, but the one game floor is terrible. But I know that's because his average has been very low lately. With that floor, I'm gonna go Corey Davis. Even though that Davis' floor is extremely low as well, I prefer to gamble a. This is a tough one. This is a real tough one. No, I'm gonna have to go with Watkins. Watkins for me out of those two. That was a good question, a real difficult one to answer. I like those when you gotta think outside the box just a little bit too. So that was from Dion, and who we got next? We got Michael, and he wants Jay Ajayi or Juju Smith. Let's do it right this time. Smith Schuster. Yes, that took way too long to get it right. We got Jay Ajayi at 13, probability 47. That's higher. One game floor is better, ceiling is better. I prefer Ajayi this week out of these two. Not super high. I like Schuster too, actually. But I prefer Ajayi this week. Schuster's a good pick in general, otherwise. Welcome to the stream. If you have any questions, you can just let me know in the chat function here on in YouTube, or hit me up at CSD Fantasy on Twitter, and I'll get to your question as soon as it come in. We have one from Alex, and he has Will Fuller or Randall Cobb. I believe there's 2 L in Randall. There we go. And it's easy win for Randall Cobb, especially with the news that Aaron Rodgers is playing. Without that, this would have been somewhat more difficult. But with Rodgers playing, even though they're playing the Vikings, I'll still prefer Cobb. Just the numbers in this case is a big difference. When it's 1.6 points and high probability, it's a pretty easy pick for me. And we got the next question. I know I'm going through them pretty fast, but I know the stream quality is not as good as it was last year. That will be fixed during the season, so don't worry about that. But I'm trying to run through the questions as fast as I can, so everybody gets their question answered without further delay and with terrible streaming quality. So we got Nelson Aglor from Joseph or TJ Yeldon. And this is standard scoring flex position. This is even easier than the one before. This is Yeldon all the way. Don't even have to think about it. With the risk here, it's just silly actually to even stay more on that question. Welcome to the stream. If you have any starter set questions or a full team, just send me a picture on Twitter with your entire team, or leave a comment below here with any questions you have, and I'll get to them as soon as I see them. Perfect, Thomas. We got Randall Cobb, Kenny Stills. I know I like Stills this week. Keelan Cole, I guess that is. In PPR, I don't have my PPR rankings up yet. I hope to have them up by week 5. But for now, see, the probability for Cobb is extremely high, though. And you just want to start one of them, I'm guessing. Stills' projection is good. His 1-game floor is high. 1-game ceiling 2. I know the projection for Cobb is a little low compared to Stills, but that's mainly because of the Vikings. There's still a high probability of reaching that prediction. I'm still going to go Kenny Stills. I'm going to answer here just to be safe that you get this answer. It's still for me, but it's still close to Cobb. Cole is not in the discussion for me this week, actually. When it comes to these 3 players, he's far behind the other 2. Thanks for that question, Thomas Kaler. I hope that I pronounced it correctly. Let's take the next one we got from Jack. And he wonders of Dion Lewis, Carlos Hyde, and TJ. I feel like it's going to be a lot of TJ Yeldon today. He's one of those players that... Thank you, Thomas. Glad to hear it. You are now a fantasy faithful. Welcome to the gang, I guess. I haven't really decided what do people do when they have like gang, bro, whatever. I'm just gonna roll with it. Welcome anyway to the Fantasy Faithfuls. Happy to have you on board. We have Jack here. That was this one, yeah. And TJ Yeldon. I feel like he's one of those players people are gonna ask everything about this week. The same with Austin Eckler. He's my favorite play of this week, though. Made a video about him. It's really short. You can check it out on the channel if you like. I'm gonna start him if I managed to get him on the waivers 40 minutes ago. I haven't checked. Otherwise, we have Dion Lewis, high projection, good probability, still not as good as Hyde's. Same as Yeldon, but much lower. So Yeldon is out in this. That's pretty easy to say. 1-game floor is higher for Lewis than it is for Hyde. Roughly the same ceiling. So this is Dion Lewis for me. Just all the factors combined, he becomes the good pick. What about Melvin Gordon? Since you're so hooked on Austin, I like Melvin Gordon too. I made a video about him as well, Jacob, that you can check out. It's Melvin Gordon versus Kareem Hunt, who you should start this week, and also who will have the most rushing yards. But I can show you real quick some numbers on Gordon. I have him for in comparing to Eckler. I'm not saying I have a higher projection for Gordon than I does for Eckler, but it's just that you can play Eckler and pick him up from your waiver wire. You know, if you own Gordon, you're gonna start him. I'm assuming. Otherwise, you know, start your studs. That's usually what you do in week 1 and 2 and so on until, you know, players start dropping off, like Devonta Freeman and such. But here you can say I have a pretty high projection for Gordon as well, 13.6 points, high probability. 1 game floor is just 0.1 points higher than Eckler, but you see the ceiling, you know, he can just pop off. So I like both of them. I think the Chargers are going to score a lot of points because they're going to have to, because they always manage to screw up in some way. Great question, though. And like I said, if you're interested, I have videos on both these players on the channel that you can check out with a ton more facts on them. But that was Jacob's question. That was Jack's question. That was Dion Lewis. Yeah, we answered that one. So next up we have from Joshua, and we have Matthew Stafford and Alex Smith. I know it's going to be Smith. It has to be because I picked him up. I knew he was a guy I was targeting on the waivers this week. He has a great projection, good probability, much higher 1 game floor, which I love in quarterbacks. Yeah, I just love that. The ceiling is higher as well. For me, that is not as important in my quarterback. I love the higher floor because it just gives me that solid ground to base my team around. I don't have to worry that my quarterback is going to score 2 points. No, you know, but that they're going to mess me up Ryan Fitzpatrick style. So this Alex Smith, one of my starting quarterbacks this week, together with Tyrod Taylor, Russell Wilson, and one more that I forget. But Alex Smith out of these two easily. That was Joshua. Let's check the chat and see. Oh, no problem, Jacob. If you have any more questions, just let me know. Or if you have your entire team, just take a screenshot of it. At me at CSD Fantasy on Twitter, and I'll do your entire team. I will keep streaming if I have questions until 12:30. So you still have plenty of time. And welcome to the stream. I see a lot more people watching right now. So welcome. Happy to have you on board. And here we have from James, Chris Hogan, and Kenny Galladay. I want to call him Gallo with O, like Galladay. Galladay. Anyway. Projections. Much higher for Galladay. High probability. High risk for Hogan. Low floor. You know, these... I'm not basing this off last weekend. I'm basing this off last year and last weekend. I'm just adding last weekend to their tally from last year. So I'm trying not to go into the trap of overreacting to week 1. It's still a very high projection for Galladay, so I know it's being impacted by last week, but I want you to know that it's not based on that entirely. I had a discussion about that on Reddit the other day about not buying into week 1 hypes. That then, I know it sounds like that with Eckler too, but like I said, it's based on last year as well. We're going to send this picture to James and let him know that I like Galladay. Thank you, James. LeBron James. Okay. I'm just messing around too much today. And then we have JD with, oh no, I can't spell this name at all. Y'all are going to see my big cheat here. Pro, because I need to have his name. Don't steal all my algorithms. Thank you. And there we go. Crowell and LaShawn McCoy. That name, never gonna learn how to spell this. I can barely pronounce it. But that was JD wanted to know. Crow has higher probability. I know LaShawn McCoy said he was gonna carry the low this week. That doesn't impact what people say doesn't impact my projections, but still it's something to keep in mind. But I do prefer Crowell this week. Also, you see these numbers are heavily in his favor. I know that's going to be in the way when I send him this picture, but it's all right. I like Crow this week. Thank you, JD. And for y'all who are new to the stream, you can post a question in the chat, and I'll get to it as soon as I see it. But in the meantime, I'm just going to keep taking the next question that I have on Twitter. I have a bunch that I'm getting through. This one is from Tom, so I almost wrote Tom. Jimmy Garoppolo. This I'm not gonna spell what he's betting. This is not going well. Did we do it? No. Yes. Shouldn't just look at what people write on Twitter and try to spell the same, because it was, yeah. But this one, pretty even. Good probability for Cam. That's just outweighs it. Even with the ceiling, much higher. But this is, Garoppolo is steady as crap when he scores around this, between 9 and 16, 17. And he always does it. He always does it. Well, not always, but you know what I mean. But Cam, for me, this one, even they play Falcons away. The Falcons have been losing a lot of defensive talent. Super Cam. That was Tom's question. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions left. Let's see if any more came in on Twitter. Yes, we got one from Seth, so let's get to that one later. So we got 6 more questions to go through. Yeah, that was the last one that came in. We have, oh, this one. I don't get a lot of questions on Jalen Richard. I believe this one is going to be pretty, yeah, one-sided. But it's still, that's a little concerning. I'm still going to go Breda. And still going to go Breda. Because it's just, opportunity-wise, even with the high risk, opportunity-wise, Breda has a better situation. As you can see, the timer is 36 minutes and 44 seconds until game starts. So we still have some time to set our lineups, make the last adjustments. So if you have any questions, just let me know. We have from somebody with no name, TJ, as I said, Yeldon, the most asked about player ever this week. I guess Lamar Miller, he has a higher projection, but the probability is higher. Yeah, Lamar Miller for me. It's the projection is too close to call, 0.4 points, but this is the deciding factor right there. Miller for me didn't have a name on that Twitter account. I think he's a much safer play this week. Somebody else answered that question too. And then we have another one from the same person. We have Cooper Kupp, Kenny Stills, and Kenny Galladay. I actually do like Stills that much. Okay. That's a high projection. As I said, this is not numbers that I make up. These are numbers that come from my algorithm. So when I say I didn't know I liked him that much more than I like Galladay or Kupp, for instance. But when it comes down to these three, it becomes very easy to see who I prefer the most. Kenny Stills by a pretty wide margin. So that was Kenny. We got 3 more questions lined up as far as we are going on. And we got one from Matthew. Start 2 out of 3 out of Emmanuel, Sanders, Nelson, Ag, Valor, and I'm gonna guess, because it says Gordon, that it's Melvin Gordon. But then I honestly don't know. But then this is PPR. I'm sitting in Aguilar. But I'm just guessing. What am I missing? Another Gordon? This is a late question. Yeah. I don't think he knew that he was suspended. So, that becomes quite redundant. And welcome to the stream. Glad to have you on board. You can drop a comment with any start sit question you might have, or just if you want a projection, all these numbers for one play, just let me know as well. Or you can post a picture of your team on Twitter and at CSD Fantasy, I'll get to it as well. So we got a question from Ryan. I'm just going to do all the questions until I run out of them. I got 2 more left, but I'll keep the stream going until 12:30 Eastern time. Either way, we got this one from Ryan with Demarius. I'm running in the wrong column. Demarius Thomas, Chris Hogan, and Amari Cooper. Cooper. Never been a fan. My bad. How many does he need to start? Who do I sit? 1. I'm so close. I'm gonna sit. Was this standard? Yeah, I'm sitting Chris Hogan out of these 3. Even though I don't even like Amari Cooper, I'm sitting Hogan. That should tell you a little bit at least. So that was Ryan's question. Thank you, Ryan. And then we have... Oh, this is a question from Seth. This is the one. Lineup advice 0.5 PPR, Royce Freeman or TDL. I have not done any projections for rookies just yet. They come out after week 4, heading into week 5. Just so you know, that's also when I'm hoping to have the PPR rankings up. But in the meantime, I'm gonna Royce Freeman or Yeldon, half-point PPR. I think Yeldon for me. Don't have any for rookies until week 5. Sorry about that. But if I just had to go with my gut, I will go with Yeldon. Out of those 2. That was a half-point PPR. Oh, Seb was from Atlanta too. Hi. Let's see if we have any more questions on Twitter. I hope the stream works out pretty well. I know it's been a little laggy, and I'm sorry about that. I can barely update my Twitter, so if you have any questions, please let them know in the chat, and I'll get to them right away. Otherwise, like I said, I will end the stream in roughly 1-2 minutes, and I hope you had a good time here as well. There we go. Thank you, insert username here. That's a great name. Devontae, Adams, Travis, Kelsey, or Will Fuller. I don't know, people have been talking about Devontae Adams has been a little shaky. I still think he's a good player to play when Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback, even if you fear a little bit for his health. But I don't know if this was pick one player or just show you the stats. So I'm just gonna pretend that's what it is. But I would go Devontae Adams as my number 1 guy, Fuller 2, and then Kelsey 3. And I hope that helps. I mean, are you starting Kelsey at flex? Because that makes me want to ask how stacked you are at tight end. And you're welcome. Happy to help. And welcome to the stream. It seems like a lot of people are coming into the stream, but there's not a lot more questions for me to answer. I've answered everything I had set up. Oh, okay, you're stacked at tight end. Okay, makes sense. Travis Kelce and George Kittle. Okay. I'm glad I got that answer though. I love finding out about how other people set up their fantasy teams, because it's so, everybody has different like ideas, and I just go by my numbers. So I don't want to say it becomes boring, but it becomes quite predictable what I'm gonna do. And I know you will experience buffering, so I'm sorry about that. And as no more questions are coming in, I'm gonna end the stream right there, and I want to thank you all so much for joining me. Next week, as I said again, I really do hope that my internet will be better again. I will find a cord or something to make it better. Oh, we got Thomas again. Last question, Emmanuel, Sanders, Marvin, Jones. Let's see what we got. Sanders. Pretty easily. I would like to see all the Detroit receivers real quick, actually. Okay, so I have Tate as their highest scorer heading into week 2. Okay, that's pretty interesting. If anybody else than me wanted to get that answered. And no, that was just, I thought I did have Galladay highest. So that's why I wanted to know Tate, because Jones was pretty low. Quite high risk as well. It's roughly the same as Galladay. I know this one. I don't have the numbers for Royce Freeman, but I know that I don't have any good numbers for Peyton Barber. Yeah, I've never bought into him. I prefer Royce Freeman, even though I don't have the numbers, as I said. I don't think these are good numbers to be starting with at running back at all. You should have a little high projection, and your probability should be higher. My probability and the risk is always a little lower for running backs than wide receivers. Even the high-end wide receivers usually have a little higher risk than high-end running backs. Let's see what we got for. You see, they have the same risk, but a full point different. So that was just what I was talking about. Thomas, you got another one? Yeah. Tyler Lockett. I think I do like Lockett this week. I wrote about him in my last in my waiver wire article that I wanted to pick him up. I don't think I was able to though. He's still he does have slightly low probability, but really high projection though. I would start Lockett over Cobb actually. Yes, I like the gamble of it. And then I don't have any numbers for Dante Pettis. I'm sorry about that, but I do have for Cooks, and I like him pretty much. Not that high on Dante Pettis. I mean, I'm not low on him either. I'm just, the rookies will have to wait with their projections until they've shown a little bit more. It's very difficult to do any statistical analysis when you don't have a sample size big enough to draw any conclusions. So that's why I try to stay away from projecting rookies before they've shown enough. I also think it's before going into the NFL, you can say whatever you want. There's a lot of unknown factors that will come into play, like how you mesh with your team, how you fit, how you handle the speed of the game. You can come in and be the biggest star ever, but it still might be to the point that you're not going to perform. So I like to be a little careful with that. Oh, no problem, man. Happy to help out. And as no questions are coming in, this time will be the time I end the stream. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to set my lineups. I really hope I got Austin Eckler, and I will swap him into my lineup. I hope to see you again next week for another stream, and another stream with less lag. So thank you so much, and as always, the spreadsheets are dark and full of terror.